Howdy ho, peepers and creepers. So this is an update on my installing the revmax thermostatic bypass valve on a 68 RFE transmission in a Ram 2018. It's a 2500 6.7 Cummins. As I mentioned, it's a 68 RFE transmission. So this is like a 5-minute job, you know. Yeah, right. So I went ahead and installed it yesterday. It was 107 degrees out. Oh man, it was radical. But I popped it out, popped it in, and I had problems. So I am going to rotate this around just because it's going to fit my diagram here a little bit better. So coming out of the transmission, you have these like kind of quick disconnect lines or push in lines that push into the thermostatic bypass right here. You have these two lines that go to the transmission cooler. Okay, so in this bypass, what's happening is when your transmission is cold, the tranny fluid is coming in. I'm not sure it's coming in the bottom or top, but it's coming in from either the torque converter or the tranny, and then it gets cycled right back down to the bottom, right back out to the transmission. Okay, so the fluid, when it's cold, does not come out of this side, and it's not hitting your cooler. So apparently they did that to save you money on gas. So I guess you don't have to idle as much or something like that. Well, some of the things I'm reading is that pressure or that temperature valve in here can stick or fail, and so it'll never open up to allow the fluid to go into your cooler. So your transmission fluid is not getting cool when you're using the original manufacturer's bypass valve. Okay, so in the revmax, these are drilled out. There's no valve or nothing in here, so the fluid runs straight through. It hits your cooler, comes back, goes straight into the transmission, which to me makes sense. Like, yeah, dude, I want my stuff, I want it to hit the cooler. I don't care what temperature it is. So in a hot environment like Arizona, this is probably a very good idea. In a cold environment, yep, you might have to idle the vehicle a little bit longer to get the tranny up to operating temperature, because it's not circulating that fluid back to your tranny. I think it's a bad design, because if that valve does get stuck in the original manufacturer one, how do you know? Other than your transmission might start getting hot. So mine used to run about 168 degrees when the truck was brand new, and for several years after. Then after that, my temperature started going up a little bit. I had a tranny fail. We did a rebuild on it, and I'm still been running hot, 172 to 80. A few days ago, it spiked up to 182. So I said, okay, I'm going to throw in the revmax. So pretty easy to do. You got a 13 millimeter nut that's over here that holds the lines coming in. You just undo that. Then you have like a 20 millimeter ratchet that takes off these lines right here, or 20 millimeter wrench. I used a 13/16, so it was a little sloppy, but these aren't very tight. They just popped right off. And then you pull this right out. So of course, when you do that, fluid is pouring out of here, fluid's pulling out of here, or flowing out of here, flowing out of here. And I grabbed my revmax, and it sits right in here. It sits right here, right? So I threw it in, threaded the lines, went to install these two lines right here that go right here on this revmax. Okay, when I inserted them, they were super sloppy. You know, there is a seal you have to install inside here prior to installing the revmax. It comes with these two seals and two clips. You have to put these two seals, one in here and one in here. So that's before you put it in. So when I put it on, these lines were sloppy. I mean, they went in here, they were flopping around. Hell, I could drive a goddamn two school buses sideways into this son of a gun. And I'm like, what? So I said, whatever. I pushed them in. I started hand threading these. The flow of fluid stopped. So I was like, thank God. So I wasn't liking the way the lines fit into here, but I'm like, I'm gonna finish the install. So you take the clips, you put one clip here, one clip there. You go ahead and tighten these down to 20 foot-pounds. You'll need a crow's foot or something like that. But yeah, I didn't have a 20 millimeter claw socket or whatever. So I used a 13/16 wrench, and I just kind of got them snug, but not too crazy. These seals can be replaced. I always recommend you remove them and put new ones, but you got to buy the whole part to get this from the dealer, and everywhere else doesn't have them. AutoZone and everywhere else I called didn't have them. So once I got it all buttoned up, I started running the truck, and I instantly had a leak. Instantly had a leak out of here, right away. It was coming out. If I would have left that truck running, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour, I think the transmission probably would have been empty. So I wiggled the lines manually with my hand to see if they would seat better. No big deal. It just kept on leaking on out. So I'm like, shoot, because it was 107 degrees, did I cut corners? Did I do something wrong? Like, what did I do? But I didn't like the fact that it was leaking, so I killed the vehicle, and I pulled this off. I wasn't even up to temperature, so I couldn't imagine this being up to temperature and pressures and all that, shifting like what it would have done. I said, well, I can't just let it all fluid drain out. I'm like, shit, man, that ATF4, like I had to get it ordered in. But anyways, I said, well, I got to put the original manufacturer part back in, because I was thinking maybe I monkeyed these lines up. Maybe I damaged them, right? Just because it was hot and trying to flop it in there, try not to lose all my fluid, and maybe I did something wrong. So I pulled out the RevMax guy. I put in the original manufacturer in, and what I noticed, as soon as I slid these lines into the original manufacturer part, it was very snug. Like it was actually hard to get these lines to go in because they were very snug, right? But I fed them in, and I felt them bottom out. So I like that when I bottom out shit. And then I went ahead and put the clip on and the cover and all that. And I went ahead and threaded these on. I wiped everything down, and no leaks. I started up the truck. I pulled it off to the road. I let it idle. I put it in reverse, neutral drive. I left it there to get to operating temperature. The tranny was up at about 172, which I'm not liking that number, but whatever. That's where I've been running. And I looked under the truck. I had no leaks. And then I'm like, well, shoot, man. What's up with this RevMax shit, right? So I pull my truck back on the driveway. I park it. I go in to take a shower because I had sweat from my top of my head to my belt line. And I jump in the shower, and I lay in the fetal position to cool down. And oh my God, I got out, probably heat exhaustion, whatever I was. I ate something, I took a nap, I woke up at 4 or 5. I double checked the instructions on the RevMax. I double checked the video that I had referenced. And then I'm like, it's only 100 degrees now. This is at 5 p.m. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and throw the RevMax back in. And maybe it's just going to seat better, right? So there I was pulling this out. This is what the second, let's see, 1, 2, like the third time I'm in there. So I go over there. I'm getting good at pulling these suckers out. I got it all pulled out. And what I would recommend you do is take these clips and put it into the RevMax first before you put it into the truck. So just go ahead and clip these onto here. So I did that. I got under there. I pulled off the original manufacturer deal and popped it out. It started leaking. I put the RevMax in, wango, bango, salango, connected, boom, right. I got it right in. Like I said, I'm getting good at this. But when I went to put these lines in, they are just sloppy, man. They are super sloppy going into here, right? So I went ahead and followed through, put it in, put the clips in, tightened it down, wiped it all off, and it's leaking. Not even running. It was leaking from you could see it coming right out of here. And there's little caps that you push over this that holds those rings in place. So it's just leaking right out, and it's running down this rib, and it's dripping off over here. And I said, well, maybe, if I get a little flow, maybe it'll seat or do something mysterious. And so I started up the truck and nope, started coming out more. So I'm gonna walk out to the truck. I'll show you what this looks like. This is from last night, and then I emailed RevMax to see what the hell's going on, and I have not got a return email from them. So that tells me they probably know their shit is bullshit, and they don't want to talk to me. They're just like, fuck you, you got your $100, you fucking deal with it. So let's see what I can do for you. Ooh, it's hot out here. Oh, I'm gonna lay on this hot pavement. Oh, god damn, it's hot. Okay. So you can see where it's leaking, right where that white cap is. It leaks and then it runs down this way to these pipes. And there's the fluid that's leaked out since last night. And then I ran it this morning shortly just to see if it was still going to be leaking, and it is. So when I started looking at my invoice, I realized I had purchased this from Amazon. I thought I bought it directly from RevMax. So one of the videos I was referencing was called Thoroughbred Chevrolet out of East Coast somewhere. So I called those suckers up to see, what's going on, like, have they ever had a problem with this? Because they were saying, yeah, this is the way to go. I called a couple local shops around here in Arizona, and nobody knows about RevMax. A couple of the diesel shops, they're like, what are you talking about? A couple high performance shops didn't know about RevMax. I'm like, really? I don't know. Sounds like it's a, pretty common redneck thing. RevMax are redneck. I don't know. Anyways, the guy at the Thoroughbred Chevrolet back east, he's like, dude, I've put in hundreds of these. I only had a problem on one. And he goes, and we just got another one, slapped it in, no problem. He said, like a 5-minute job. And then I told him what my issue was. And then I said, well, you know what, man? I did buy it off of Amazon. Then he goes, oh, man. I go, yeah, I know. I don't like to buy critical parts from Amazon, but all this is machined out. Like, what could be going on? So he is thinking that this could be a knockoff, He's like, there could be a slight problem that maybe it came from China and they knocked it off. And, I mean, it looks RevMax. It looks official. You go to their website, it looks like the real deal. So, he's that's the only thing he can think of. I told him how the lines are so sloppy when I put them in here, and he says he doesn't recall that. He feels all the ones he plugged in, no problem. I said, well, it's a 68 RFE. Any concern? He's like, no, that's what it's for. He gave me another option, ATS or something like that. But he was standing behind RevMax. He's like, dude, that's a quality part, He goes, so I don't know what your problem is. So he said he'd be happy to get me ATS, but he did say RevMax, this style of thermostatic bypass, is on back order, which that's what this red line said. I just cut the picture out so you could see it. He's saying these are on back order. So how did I get one? So he's thinking, it's a knockoff. I don't know. Looks pretty legit to me, So anyways, I have not heard back from RevMax. They haven't given me any additional input. I called my tranny guy, and then I said, hey, brother, just fucking, I don't know, do whatever you would do. I don't care if it's RevMax or not. Yeah, I know it's a 5-minute repair. The dealer wants $300 for the original manufacturer piece, but I'm thinking the piece. I'm thinking the piece ain't monkeyed up. It's just how it is. But I called my service advisor and we started talking about it, and he says, I don't even know what you're talking about, man. He goes, I've never heard that, So I'm thinking maybe those things don't fail, and that's just how they are. But I figured he would say, oh yeah, Mike, those things, we have problems, we swap them out. But no, he didn't even know what I was talking about when I brought it up. So, that's it on the RevMax. I'm in a holding pattern. I'm going to have my transmission guy handle it. I just said, dude, change the fluid. I know it's only been 20,000 miles. I said, change the fluid, change the filters. It's after the rebuild. I don't even care. Charge me $1,000, 10,000. I don't care. He said $20,000. I said, fine, do it. Anyways, he's reasonable. He's a reasonable guy. I just said, I need another set of hands on this. Maybe I'm doing something weird. I don't know. So he's going to check his distributor for RevMax. And he says, yeah, I don't know about that Amazon stuff. And he's going to get the fluid and all that stuff and charge me 2 times the going rate and kick me in the ass. And I said, great. I said, let me provide the boot with the steel toe, man. Go to town. Get it on. Get it on. So yeah, the Ram's out of commission, man. So I don't want to get under there. I could throw the original part back in and put her back into service so I can do my Ram stuff in the next couple days. But I'm taking it to him on Wednesday, and he's usually pretty quick. He'll probably have it done Wednesday, but I told him I don't want it back till Friday. Take your time, do what you got to do, like I always do. It's not like I need the Ram, and I don't know, dude. I love Ram as far as towing, man. They tow like champs. But dude, for a $67,000 vehicle, it's a lot of bullshit with these trucks, man. So I don't know, man. I've always been a GMC guy, and if I had $90,000, I probably would buy the AT4. But I don't know. I don't know why people love this Dodge products. I just, it's always something with this damn Ram. And maybe I'm being too over diligent with it. Maybe I should just run it until it does explode. I don't know. But that's all I got to report today, folks. Won't have any updates till Friday of this week when he works on it. And I'll let you know. Bye.